Back here live at the Waterfront Village with my friend, the zombie, Jonathan. You're looking good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I make turtles.
It's now time for Big D Energy with four-time Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty and the golden voice of Neil Rule. Live on the Woodward Sports Network, 99.1 and 93.5 The Roar, the Woodward Sports app, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Big D Energy right here from our Planet Fitness Studios. My name is Neil Rule. We are squad deep here again at our Planet Fitness Studios at Woodward Sports. We have D-Mac, Darren McCarty, the four-time Stanley Cup champion. We also got our guy, T-Foss, Terry Foster, Detroit sports media icon. It's a big, big day, certainly, to talk sports. We got Sam in the audio booth. We got Sawyer on the ones and twos. We are locked. We are loaded. And we're going right into this here today because there's just so much to dissect, so much that has happened. But you really have to be excited, gentlemen. Detroit's favorite son is going to the Super Bowl. ASHAWN Robinson. Give it up for ASHAWN Robinson, who got it done. And I hearken back to that day in the NFL draft. The second-round pick, number 46 overall. The ASHAWN Robinson era began in Detroit, and he certainly, D-Mac, did not disappoint. Led the NFL in pass deflections as a rookie for a defensive lineman. Had a huge interception of Drew Brees, a pick six on Drew Brees. Tackled Zeke Elliott, quote, too hard and got a penalty. Lots of turnovers created. And you just, D-Mac, these are the types of days. And T-Foss will get you in a second here. But when you look back to some of Detroit's favorite sons, Isaiah Thomas, certainly, Steve Yzerman, yourself to some degree, could be called
Detroit's
one of
favorite stepson,
adopted sons.
Adopted sons.
ASHAWN Robinson, social media rejoiced. Everybody was excited. And you like to see it. I mean, you have to remember the big plays like this here. Drew Brees, that's a Hall of Famer, a pick six. I'm just excited for all the goodwill about ASHAWN Robinson. I'm going to harken
back and ask Terry because he's seen more football than anybody around here. But the key there, Neil, was a second-round pick being successful. Now, not here, but baby steps is the fact that there's a second-round pick drafted by the Detroit Lions that is actually doing something and carrying the other guy to the Super Bowl there in L.A. Rams. I was a big ASHAWN Robinson fan when he was here, so I'm happy as heck for him. When you posted this last night, I popped. But, Terry, what about this in the bigger scheme because of everything going on?
Well, as I kept telling people, and they wouldn't listen to me, the Lions didn't win because of ASHAWN Robinson's failures. The Lions didn't win because they're the Detroit Lions. So if you can't win with ASHAWN Robinson, there's something wrong with their organization.
There you have it.
Can't win with anybody, and that's proven by the Rams, right?
Absolutely it is. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Brandon Powell as well. This is a man that had 11 catches for the Detroit organization. Returned 2 punts for 8 yards, Terry. I think that we have to take a moment, too, and honor. Terry, as you go back through it, was the more electric Brandon Powell moment for you, was it the 2 punt returns for 8 yards? Which one of his 11 catches were your favorite?
I'll be honest, I can't remember one of them. I didn't even know he was on the team.
So what you're saying is it's the Lions rub that got the Rams to the Super Bowl over the top by just being able to utilize McVay and Snead and all these guys that are the great organizational benefits of the L.A. Rams, and this is the reason. It's unfortunate that they couldn't get it done here, but they're getting it done there. Yeah.
I think what we're going to see from now on are teams who think they're on the cusp of winning a Super Bowl are just going to look at the Lions roster and start rating it. So, okay, let's get this guy, and we're over the top now.
And here it is, too, on our YouTube chat thread. You guys can tap into the YouTube chat thread, get your thoughts out there. And I'll head this off right here. XC Williams, the Matt Stafford bitterness is lame. I feel, and I know we're going to have to, guys, I'm sorry, but this is going to get taken in this direction. And I always have to qualify it. You guys can both vouch for this because we've done shows where both of you have heard me say this before. I don't care.
Right.
The Stafford thing doesn't matter to me at all. He's gone. It doesn't matter to me.
It does matter to you because you've been a snoot again.
No, it doesn't matter to me, Terry. He doesn't play for the team I root for.
Here's the thing. If you have an emotional investment to anybody, any fan, any team, whatever like that, whether they play in your team or not, it's for no place for somebody else to tell you who to cheer for. I get it. The investment, I mean, you go through last night's social media and some of the reactions I seen grandmas crying, like belly laughing, crying like somebody passed away, crying. They were so happy. But who are you to give somebody else their emotional investment?
You know, don't let this guy, Darren, don't let this man off the hook. He's being a hater today.
He ain't being a hater.
Yes, he is.
He's because he's stuck to what he said all along, right? He's about getting our organization better. It ain't about feeling good. It ain't about the investment that all of us made since Matt Stafford was supposed to be the chosen one. All the times that we appreciate his Detroit toughness and stuff like this, that he couldn't get it done here because it's more on the organization. What you're seeing from Matt Stafford now, right, is not only calm and cool, and I mentioned this before, he got over the hump to be able to look, this is just him. When he won that playoff game, everybody, no matter Detroit, Rams, whatever, that's something that he accomplished himself. He can go in that mirror no matter what anybody's saying. He can look at himself in the mirror, and he looked at himself a little differently. And I've been saying all along, well, we're going to find out because we've been, as the old Detroit Red Wings, getting to that hump. Losing to Jersey, losing to Colorado. You never know if you can get through it. Are you what everybody says you are or what you think you are? He's putting it all together. But in the whole scheme of things, it's team, right? It's team, and he's realized that he doesn't have to be the end-all, be-all, him and Calvin or him and whatever, the two-headed monster. No, it's everybody. And last night, no matter what, in a game that I didn't think was well coached on both sides. Like, that's the timeouts, the challenges by McVay. Like, LA was destined to win, and they won because Matt Stafford put them in a position, but they made plays. Their defense made plays. Aaron Donald, he's the true leader of that team. And you could see that the way that even Stafford getting interviewed after the game and Aaron Donald coming by. But they go on him. There was a play after Kittle's touchdown to go down 10 where the announcers made it a point going, Aaron Donald isn't a vocal guy. And he calls everybody over. And he's saying, and he's going nuts because this is the time. And not only, that's great. That's great posturing for the media. And, I did my best. But then you go out and you do it, and you effectively do it. And then at the end of the day, when we're sitting here, it was 20-17. The Rams won. Just dessert. Now, go finish it off. I'm happy for Adam in the morning and him getting all excited. But again, that's not winning. Okay? The next one's winning, then we can celebrate. But everybody who's happy for Matt Stafford or sad, own it. To whatever it is your own. I'm happy. And I'm happy more because to see the kid get over the hump and to know what he's put in. So I'll be happy and whatever else. It's a lot easier for me and Neil with your mentality as far as draft pick making our team better because they're not going to get better in the next year. It's not going to be the end-all, be-all. We're not going to be the Cincinnati Bengals and make that move in the next year. So that 32nd pick or whatever they win the Super Bowl, that's fine with me. That's me. That's why I don't hate as much. So,
but I don't hate, and Terry,
you don't care.
So I don't care. I'm indifferent. There's a difference between hatred and indifference. There's a difference between. I'm indifferent to it,
and you're neither one. If you didn't care, we wouldn't be talking about ASHAWN Robinson. This is
I'm doing that for fun, Terry.
I know, this is your little snarky way.
No, it's not a little snarky way
of dissing Matt Stafford.
I didn't. I don't take it like that. I take it as everybody else and every other show and everybody else leading out with the frickin' Stafford parade and whatever. And Neil goes, let's change this up and give some other guys to know. And it goes to the team effort, but there's other people out there. And plus, he wanted to show that, hey, maybe there are some second-rounders that we can draft.
This goes back to my philosophy about quote-unquote enforcers in the NHL. On the ice, they're fighters, they're mean and everything. sweetest guys in the world off the ice. And Darren is being a sweetie pie. You're being a cutie pie today because you're giving this man.
No, I'm accepting.
No, my ass. You're giving this man.
He's been consistent, Terry. He's been consistent about the draft
Yeah.
pick, and then once
It's all
that it
business.
doesn't matter, he's like, I don't care. Whatever it is, he's
He does
consistent.
care. That's the issue. He
Okay,
does care.
Terry, Miki Lum Phelps here on our YouTube chat thread. Hi, Stafford haters. Let the hate flow. And he's not the only. I'm not a Stafford hater. I'm indifferent, Terry, because it doesn't matter to me.
He's more of a
No, don't fall for this, guys. He's not indifferent.
Why can't this be? Why? So everybody can be on. And D-Mac, you said it. If you like them, cool. If you don't like them, cool. Which do whatever you want to do, man. Just as long as you pay your taxes and be nice to people. That's all I want you to do. Now, why can't I be in the indifferent camp? Why?
Because you're not.
Yes, I am.
You can be, but you're not.
Because you're saying, Terry's saying, young man, your words and your actions are not matching up.
What
Right? That's what you're saying. Your words
right.
and your actions aren't matching because he thinks that every time you bring up something else, that it's a Stafford dig, right?
It
but
is.
I believe Terry's a little bit too old guy on the couch on the corner in the barber shop telling you, well, how do you feel about it? Because
here's my take. I am not happy, particularly for Matthew Stafford, because he made $27 million a year here.
He made $250 million.
Right.
Wait,
so
what's that matter?
It wasn't like
Did he
he was
give you
in
everything
poverty
he had?
here, lived
He
in
wasn't
a
a
bad
martyr,
house.
you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think this is important because maybe it gets to the real diehard Lion fans who are a little bit stupid that your franchise has problems. Matthew Stafford, the guy that you said cannot win a playoff game, wasn't good enough, goes to another team, not only wins a playoff game, but goes to the Super Bowl.
Terry, have you ever seen a story in the history of Detroit sports like this, in that everybody's right? The Stafford haters are right to some degree. The Stafford defenders are right to some degree. The only thing that's wrong is people that want to take up for the Lions organization or whatever, but even they have a point. Because like my two counterpoints of it are, and you guys know this, I'm consistent with this. In 2014, he had a historically great run defense in the NFL. Historically great. He had the only backfield in history to have two guys have 500 yards rushing, 500 yards receiving. Only time ever that's happened. All the tools were there. Calvin Johnson re-upped because he thought they were a player away. The reason they took Eric Ebron in the draft is because they thought that was the player that was going to put them over the top.
Okay, there's a mistake.
No, but you know, they took a swing at it. Have you ever seen a story like this, though, in the history of Detroit sports?
No, I haven't seen a story like this in the history of sports, period. This is nuts.
Isn't this crazy?
Two things to what you both are saying. So this is the greatest thing if it should be, because it pulls the wool back over about the dysfunction of the Lions organization. So now the whole league and everybody else.
But they had a team.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
But that's
they had
7 years ago. He
Right.
wasn't ready. Took Steve Eisman 14 years, right, to win that first cup and to get there. What I'm saying is Matthew Stafford in 2014 was more of, I got to do it myself. I don't realize the defense that I have isn't I don't see the maturity.
Yeah.
What I see in the
Joe Burrow
maturity
did it in
now
20 games.
with having the defense and having the team. This is 7 years ago, right? I was a drunken mess 7 years ago. I'm not the same person I was then. He's not the same quarterback.
And here's the thing.
I bet you if you ask, or are we seeing stuff that he learned from not taking that 2014 team and having everything that he needed and set there for him in that place? Is this not retribution to that? This goes into what you've learned looking in the mirror once you start that momentum. I think that's what I'm seeing. But on the other side, right, to me, all the spotlights in the heads, because a lot of the narrative is, to some people, is, well, Stafford couldn't do it in Detroit, and it was Detroit's fault they didn't put it around. So he went to L.A., and they could do it there for him. So maybe this puts more light on the Lions organization for them to do something. Oh.
Well, if I was going to get a haircut, what would I do?
I didn't even. See, I'm all heated up. I'm all fired up. But you know what? In the
Darren
interviews
doesn't
last
care.
night, the interviews last night, guys, haircuts were phenomenal. You know why? Because let's be honest, we like simple stuff. Football 5 days a week. Won't have it for another couple weeks, but the big game's coming. Cincinnati, LA, I think the 3.5 was the line. Anyways, we like things uncomplicated. Lady Jane's haircuts for men. Look it, walk in, sign in, sit down. Before you know it, you're handsome and clean. Get the Lady Jane's open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Big D Energy, Neil Rule, D-Mac, T-Foss in the house. We'll be right back.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Hi, I'm Cade, Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
Hey, anything going on today? Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Terry Foster here in the house as well. We got an all-star lineup. We got Sam. We got Sawyer. He's fresh off 24 hours of Daytona. I'm getting texts from him at 1 a.m. Hey, man, I'm still watching. Still over here doing it.
Did you check out the Ferris wheel?
Yeah, the Ferris wheel was cool. It's looking sweet over there and everything like that. We're going into it. The duality of this topic. And Terry Foster said it. I asked him, I said, have you ever seen anything like this in Detroit sports? He said, I haven't seen anything like this in sports ever. Because there are pieces, fragments, where every side is right. And it is. And Mickey Lumfeldt said, you can't defend the Lions organization ever. You said it. Ebron took a swing. Awful. In that 14-year, the pieces were in place. They were. James Ahedebo, by the way, former Lion. Matt Stafford's going to the Super Bowl in his first year in L.A. It's safe to say the Lions should sell their organization. That's a former player. For that year, they did have the pieces in place. And he had the... This isn't me hating. I'm merely retelling what happened. For that year, they had the pieces together to the point where Calvin Johnson signed his last contract. And he had the football in his hand with a chance to win a playoff game and didn't do it. And that is true. And that's not hating by me. That's not what I think. That's what happened. Like, Terry, okay. I've never seen a topic like this where all pieces have a leg to stand on. They do.
All right, brother, let me ask you this. Why does he go to another team for 1 year and go to the Super Bowl?
Because everything is true.
Because the pieces are in place. What the Rams, you're talking about, and this is more poignant. We could say whatever you want about Kroenke, but this is ownership.
Yeah.
Because you look at what you're talking about that 1 year. Right? You're talking about that 1 year, 2014, where they put all the eggs in one basket. Just because you go for it, put all the eggs in one basket doesn't always work out. We did the same thing in 2002
and that's
with
my
the
point.
Hall of Fame team, and we did. But we had more Hall of Famers. So what I'm saying is we saw, without Jared Goff, pretty much what this team was. Then they go out and add Odell Beckham. They add Von Miller. They make this team. They do whatever it does. It reminds me, the Rams remind me of the 90s, no salary cap Red Wings when Mr. Ilitch goes, what do we need? How much is he going to cost? Oh, let's get him. We don't care. That's the mentality. With the Lions, it was more of we have to do it now or it's not done because we're not building anything.
Yeah, my point about it is, this is the second time he had pieces in place. The
But
first
so he
time it
learned.
didn't work.
So isn't life learning
Sure.
experience?
Fair.
When he failed the first time when he didn't have it, he learned there. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I see a difference. And 7 years or whatever, everything he's gone through. Guys, as an athlete, all the things that happen in your life will affect you. So the thing that happened with his wife and going through all that, you don't know what this made this man more than just the athlete. And then to go to the team where you see they're all in it together. That ship was going to go down no matter what together. I didn't think they were going to win with McVay challenging here, challenging there, being dumb, clock management stuff. But they persevered because what? At the end of the day, it was the leadership. And you look at that last defensive stand. You look at that last series when they picked it off. Aaron Donald wasn't going to be denied. right? No matter what. And that's the sort of mentality. It's Aaron Donald's team. Stafford realizes that. And he's playing second lieutenant like the best dude ever.
Dave Schultz says, why is there a right and a wrong here? Why can't people have their opinion? Why can't people just have their own opinion? Who are y'all to judge either way? And, Dave, that's my thing. And I can't believe that, because I am indifferent, Terry. I know we laugh and we joke, and I did the ASHAWN Robinson thing. It doesn't impact me at all because I'm still a Lions fan. I'm not a Detroit Rams fan. I'm not putting the Stafford jersey on, just like I'm not putting the ASHAWN Robinson jersey on or the Brandon Powell Rams jersey on.
What if we got you a LA Rams championship cap? Would you wear it?
No, just like I wasn't wearing a Detroit Astros World Series champion shirt either.
Well, that's what it's like, isn't it? It's more, and I'm not going to argue, but on the surface, the comparison is Justin Verlander.
Well, see, the difference is there's an asset tied to Stafford. That's what's incredible about this. That's why you've never had this before.
That's why you care.
Yeah, because I want my organization to advance.
But you say you don't care. You do care.
No, I care. I care because I want the team that I root for to have the most leverage that they can have.
So you've got investment in this.
No, but it doesn't.
So
the
if there was
Stafford
no
thing,
draft pick from the Rams, had nothing to do with how they finished, would you want Stafford to win? Or
He's not my quarterback anymore.
Okay.
He's just another guy.
Okay.
Just the same that it is. Like, I'm disappointed
You're
for
consistent.
Patrick Mahomes.
You don't want them raising your kids, and you don't want them, doing all that stuff. But these are just athletes. They're just athletes too.
Well, we root for the shirt, right? Like that's like the whole Seinfeld. I know I said Seinfeld. It's a running joke we have. It's like that whole bit. You root for the shirt, Terry. I root for the Lions shirt.
That is true. But you were invested in this. You wanted Stafford to lose his first playoff game. He didn't.
Right.
Then you wanted him to lose
but
second
not because I was hating Matt Stafford.
No, but you're invested in this.
You wanted the Rams to lose.
I wanted the Rams
playoffs
to lose.
Man, which he's a part of. Here's the lesson that we in Detroit need to learn. The NFL is a team game. Did Matthew Stafford win that game yesterday? No. Did Aaron Donald win that game? No. Matthew Stafford and Beckham and Cooper Kupp and Aaron Donald and they won the game. You need a complete team. And now you brought up the 1 year he had a quote-unquote complete team.
There is no quote-unquote. That they had one of the historically great run defenses, Terry.
Except at the end of the game when it was decided to win games, they weren't.
Well, you mean like at the end of the game when he had the ball in his hand with a chance to win and didn't?
But when the defense could have stopped people and didn't. And they didn't.
All I know is, Terry, he had the football in his hand in the fourth quarter with a chance to win.
All I know is
like when Joe Burrow had a chance to do it, he did.
He had two complete teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
He went to the Super Bowl 1 out of the 2 years. If you have a 50% hit rate when you've got a quote-unquote complete team, that's pretty damn good. Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, made the Super Bowl, I think, 33% of his career. That is damn good, too. But, we could pick and say, well, he could have gone more and stuff. I think that's a good hit rate in the National Football League. We saw the games the last 2 weeks where if you played this playoff again, you could have two entirely different teams playing for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was a crapshoot. Ryan texts in. Says, if Barry Sanders went to another team, would you be happy for him to go to the Super Bowl if it made the Lions draft pick drop? And Barry's like, my guy, right? My guy. No, because he'd be gone. And he wouldn't be here anymore. And that hurts to say. But that's the way it is.
You're cold, bro.
But that's for him.
I get it. No, but
fine.
that's you. I'm just saying. I just think you're cold.
You're right.
Yes.
You know what? You know why I liked the Red Wings when I was younger?
Because they won.
Because you guys won.
What about Sergei? Did you cheer for him in Anaheim?
Did I cheer for him? No. Did I cheer for him? I still enjoyed watching him play because the kind of player that he was. I was bitter at the Red Wings organization for letting it get to that.
But then because you're a huge Pavel Bure fan too.
Right.
So did you go when Sergei left Detroit? Were you more Bure-esque focused?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It was like,
and let me explain, right? When you have a favorite player on your team, right, and could be some because this is Everybody has a connection different. Maybe it's because somebody gave you a puck, or maybe you met them somewhere, or maybe you like the way they play. When they leave, you have this personal attachment, so it's more like a family member, where if you have another person in another place that you admire, right, it's easier to latch on to them when your player breaks your heart.
Well,
right, and a lot of times, but I get it where you're consistent to it, but too, so I'm trying to make the point that you're not as cold-hearted, but you wanted to see him have success, but it was not at the Red Wings' expense.
If they played the Red Wings in the playoffs,
Anaheim, Detroit beats Anaheim 4-3, and Sergei has a hat trick. Right? Your guy has a hat trick, we win 4-3.
No, because I wouldn't want that to happen, because if he has a hat trick, then my team has a greater probability of losing. You know what I'm saying? He's not here anymore. You know what I'm saying?
But we know how to play against him. So that's why I said we won 4-3. But I'm just and that's your way. My way, I'm not. If I like a guy or a player, I'm more into like the person aspect of it, or evolution or something like this. So I guess to hold on to it a little more. I'm happy because of the whole pitcher thing. And like you said, when you guys are talking about the failures in 2014, holy cow, hope you don't bring up mine. You know, I mean, but they've changed. And that's why I've seen a different Matt Stafford maturity on and off the field. And to Terry's point, did Matt Stafford feel a lot of times when the pressure back in the day that he had to do it himself?
That's what I think. He felt he had to do it. And this town said he has to do that. Because we in this city are quarterback whisperers or quarterback
Well, we hate our quarterbacks
haters.
and goaltenders, but yeah, we're going to, the hardest job in sports is a quarterback goal. But that's to the point. And that's what he learned, is that he can't do it. Everything that we wanted him to be and do, and the savior in Detroit, right, to go there in order to win, he realized, I need, like you said, the Cooper Kupps, the OBJs. Everybody has to work together. And they all realize, look at Odell Beckham, right? The guy we talk about all the time, the prima donna, this. But he's bought in, right? You got these guys all buying in.
Yeah, there is no question about it. Cody Engel says, Neil, they have gotten a better pick and botched it. Focusing on the draft pick is beyond lazy. Trust the GM. No, I do. I do trust the GM implicitly because, most of the guys he drafted have numbers in the box scores every week. We've talked about that in the past. I want that GM that you say to trust, that we both think, I think we both think is good and capable at what he's doing. I want him to have as much ammunition as possible. I want him to have the best picks that he can have, so he can do whatever he wants to do. Because I do. I have an implicit trust in that guy to get it done, just based on what he
I thought
had.
that guy calling you lazy, that's unfair. If you ask Brad Holmes, Brad, would you rather have the 25th pick or the 32nd pick?
What do you think he'd say?
Or it doesn't matter. He said, I'll take 25. Even though I believe in myself, I'll take 25 over 32 in a heartbeat.
That's where I was with that. I mean, it goes back to D-Mac's thing. Would you rather me give you $3 or $5? You'd rather have $5.
You have 5.
Yeah.
Even though I know I can invest my money and increase it,
you can
I'll
make
take
the
the
3
$5.
into 5, but you know what? If I give you the 5, you're already there.
Absolutely. Cintron World's an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages, premium bottled water, and revitalizer shots. Cintron's the official energy drink. That's right, D-Mac's over there cracking it right now. Official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings, as he's on brand. As you know it, proud partners with the Pistons and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and great taste, Cintron is the play, everybody. Buy online at cintronworld.com. Use the promo code RedWings10. Save 10% with shipping included. Drink it. Live it. Like D-Mac's over there with Cintron.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Woodward Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, Terry Foster, T-Mac, Darren McCarty in the house. I got my Michigan Panther shirt on, by the way, today. Everybody was asking, what kind of T-shirt you're wearing. So it's the Michigan Panther. The Jeff Fisher era has begun, so you can count on the Panthers to be 500.
That's pretty much it, right? pretty standard.
That is pretty much it. And I knew that this was how it was going to go down. We do at some point have to get in, to the other football game as well. And I have this playoffs, over the last 2 playoff weekends, the last 7 days, Terry, we have seen legacies eroded, i.e. Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Terry, Patrick Mahomes, who I celebrated, who I championed, that I thought was the next great of all time, now is just a regular dude. He's a guy that's choked, and he's a regular dude now. Things change quickly, don't they?
Yeah, that's what he looks like. And maybe we saw that in the last Super Bowl when he didn't have his 2 tackles, and then all of a sudden it's like he's running for his life. And I think Patrick Mahomes is a guy that got into the mode, I have to do it all myself. And when he does that, he gets in trouble. There's times where the Kansas City Chiefs and Mahomes are like, you know what? We're going to take what the defense gives us. We have exceptional playmakers on there. And when he does that, they look pretty damn good. But when he breaks away from that, they're just another team.
I can't get it because he did that, D-Mac, in the first half. He spun out of everything, and we're sitting there, I'm watching the game with the boys and everything like that, and we're like, wow, look, he did it again. He's a magician. He's spinning it. And I don't know what happened in the second half of that game.
Let's give credit where credit's due, right? Because to Terry's point, Patrick Mahomes' default, right, is yard ball. Right, it's outside school ball. When his default.
When you draw the play up on your hand.
We heard it earlier this year when they were 3-4 and stuff like this, where Andy Murray and throughout about him checking down, taking the easy ones and doing the simple things. But when it got tight and he got nervous and stuff like this, what are we used to the Kansas City, right, Chiefs? Playing from ahead, playing from ahead, making it easy. The fact of what happened of not taking the points and going for it at halftime, right, but not throwing it in the end zone, trying to do a little swing to Tyreek Hill and have him. To me, that started it. But give the adjustments that the Bengals made, as much as they stopped them from spinning out. They stopped them. They made those adjustments and kept going. To me, the story of that game is to Joe Burrow. Like, Joe Burrow, this kid he doesn't only get hit. When he gets sacked, he gets crushed.
Right.
Okay, so the fact that he's
down
still
21-3.
alive they did it with no offensive line.
Yeah.
Right, kid gets sacked every other play, running for his life, but makes plays, has enough to do those things. So the adjustments that were made, and I know we sit here and go, look at the facts. Kansas City Chiefs scored 3 points in the second half.
Right. Let's see
That's
what
not
happens.
gonna work.
Let's see what happens with Joe Burrow next season, because maybe the NFL adjusted to Patrick Mahomes, and now he's got to adjust so he can, overcome what people have done to him. But when you look at Patrick Mahomes, he was not just harassed; he was under duress for a lot of that game. He just didn't. It's just a different way that people played him.
Yeah, on the YouTube chat there at Klompsaw says Mahomes choked with a question mark. 55 yards in the second half in overtime with 2 picks. Yes. Had a 21-3 lead.
And took some bad sacks, too.
And took some bad sacks.
In the red zone.
Yes. He did. And I know it's blasphemous to say. This is me saying I'm the biggest Mahomes slappy there is. I said, if I could have a player, contracts notwithstanding, if I could have a player today to start the team, I want Patrick Mahomes.
See, here's the thing. This is a conversation for later in the week, Sawyer, stuff like this. But I think we've seen, we're talking about the old guard sort of getting knocked down, the Rodgers, and Mahomes ain't an old guard, but him, Brady, stuff like this. But we're seeing the surgence. And the one thing is I was always, Josh Allen. But, man, like Joe Burrow could be this age's cerebral Tom Brady.
Well,
and
yeah.
here's the one thing about Joe Burrow. Anybody, right, which we haven't seen, and I think that against the Rams, they're going to have to utilize this. The kid can scoot. The kid can, when he gets out of the pocket or he has to use his legs, that's an asset.
And he runs big.
He runs
He's
big,
hard to bring
and he
down.
he plays big. He stands in the pocket big. He's not running away like he's eluding. Like there was the one play where it looked like they were chasing him, and it looked like that Tom Brady training camp, lifting your feet, running out of the tackles and stuff like this. But he's athletic too. So if they can find a way to protect him and to not have him get hurt, I think he's that. To me, he might be that guy for the next 10, 12 years.
Gator Raider says Neil gets more flack than anyone on these 3 programs, but I agree with most of his takes. LOL. I'm honest about it, and I'm being real about it, about how I feel. But Terry, this is why the NFL playoffs are great, though, right? How I'm talking about Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers right now, because everything can change. Everything changed in 30 minutes. Patrick Mahomes' entire career, I feel, changed in 30 minutes, because that's all out the window now. The chasing Montana and the chasing Brady and things like that. Because if you look at where the Chiefs are set up financially, Mahomes $45 million a year kicks in now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it goes for that. And to go back to D-Mac's point, Terry, the Bengals, again, they have Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow for $17 million a year for the next 2 years. They have 8 picks in the draft. They can get an offensive line in a hurry if they so choose. They are now. It's another thing to do it, but they're built to be the next Chiefs. You know what I'm saying, Terry?
Right. Yes, but and you're talking about the playoffs, how it changes things. Look how it's changed in the last 3 weeks. Patrick Mahomes, we see his flaws now. Tom Brady's retiring, probably. Aaron Rodgers will probably play somewhere else. Garoppolo's going to lose his job, and Matthew Stafford is now on the king. He's on the king run right now. And you know what? He could get his next year, where makes the Super Bowl this year, and the next year gets booted in the first round of the playoffs. That's how tight the top of the NFL is. And
absolutely, we can all agree, and you said it earlier. But if you ran it back, right, the playoffs again, probably doesn't end up with the same 2 teams.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So I guess that's the NFL they wanted. Yeah, what we can really say is what we've seen is that, we're a little suspect in the wild card games, adding that extra team and stuff like that. But since then, right, the cream rises to the top and the parity's there. So, that's the good side for the Lions, is that you can get there closer. But what the Bengals did, to your point, not only with the draft, getting their quarterback and getting their receiver, that just shows you that at the end of the day, that's your quick success, right? It's your quarterback.
Here is your hope in this city. 2 years ago, the Cincinnati Bengals won 2 games.
Right.
Other than the Super Bowl.
But they got the quarterback.
And that's the difference. They do have the quarterback.
And they caught a break in the end with Burrow getting hurt and got the draft pick, the 7th overall draft pick, and were just high enough to take Jamar Chase. Just high enough.
It takes skill. It takes luck. It takes a lot of things that this franchise here has not had.
Of being there and having to the point back to whatever else, and it comes back to here in Detroit, the Lions. Who and whom do you trust? And that's Brad Holmes. And that's the way you got to take advantage of your luck, right? It's like getting the lucky bounce or whatever off the sideboard or whatever on your stick out front of the net, but you still got to bury it. Just because it got there, so that's the thing.
And that's another thing, too, where when I talk about Stafford, and I've heard people say that, like Stafford detractors, of which I'm not one. I'm just indifferent. I always have to qualify that, I feel like. But I just want everyone to know I'm indifferent. I do not care. I would rather them lose because my organization benefits, but not at the expense of Stafford. But anyway, I just have to get that disclaimer. Always have to get that disclaimer out there. With all that being said, for me, with where the Bengals are as a franchise and the Lions as a franchise, like you see, if I could have any franchise, like we talked about a player, if I could have any franchise and be any franchise right now in the NFL, I'd want to be the Bengals.
Yeah,
I would.
I
because it is set up.
Right, and to Terry's point, right, to my point, where all things can be true, is that you gotta be in the right position, take the right guy, but you gotta take advantage of your luck. right? And the thing like that. And they're in a great spot, too, because they know what they need to do. They got to keep their guy upright. So you look for the Bengals, and this is – it doesn't cost them, right, this year to go deep because they're going to get a lineman and they're going to get somebody later in the draft. But you're right as far as moving forward that this could be – we talk Buffalo as the next AFC team and stuff like this, but don't shake your head on the Bengals. And that gives you hope in Detroit if you can get lucky and things can fall into place a little bit.
I'll say this to you too, D-Mac. Oh, by the way, with the Lions sitting at number 2, and if you're an organization that, say, wanted the best offensive tackle in the draft, and you're built to win, and you have all the tools in place, and you're ready to roll.
Hello.
You know what I'm saying, though?
Who's calling?
This is where all this stuff comes into play that people say, what's the difference between number 1 and number 2? If the Jaguars take the top offensive tackle off the board, doesn't if you're the Bengals or whatever, then all of a sudden that second pick isn't valuable to you anymore. You see what I'm saying, though, Terry? That's why I always want to have as high a pick as possible. And people laugh at it, but that's why.
And I'm laughing at you, too.
Why though, Terry?
Because I think
what's wrong about that?
In this year's, and most of the times you're correct. This year, I don't think it applies to the Detroit Lions because the Detroit Lions don't want an offensive tackle.
No. I'm saying if you're an organization like the Bengals, where you feel like you're built to win now, and you're prepared to push all in.
He's saying what's the draft capital? The Bengals want to get Froggy at the top.
If the Bengals want to get the best offensive tackle in the draft, if they value him,
screw the Bengals. All I want for the Detroit Lions is to end up with one of those DNs or whatever they are, because in order to win this division, you got to make things uncomfortable for Aaron Rodgers if he's around, Justin Fields if he's around. Whoever the quarterback is going to be for the Kirk Cousins. You got to make it uncomfortable for them. So you can't worry about the Cincinnati Bengals or anybody else trade up. You got to get what you need, and the Detroit Lions desperately need playmakers on defense, and they're staring at 2 right now. That's why the number 1 and number 2 pick thing didn't bother me, because you're going to get one of those 2 guys, and that's what they need desperately.
Right. But I'm saying, though, if the Bengals feel as though they're in a spot where the one missing – because I talked about that earlier. And Calvin Johnson, when we talked to Calvin Johnson, he confirmed that. He said it, to where they thought they were one piece away, and that's why they took Eric Ebron. Now, we laugh at it and joke about it now, even though he did end up going to a Pro Bowl. But we laugh about it and joke about it now and say, oh, ha, they took Eric Ebron. They thought they were one piece away. You know what I'm saying?
But that's a franchise that doesn't think properly.
Absolutely.
That's fair. I got no response.
You know what
to
I
that.
like, though? Is right, T. Foss, he is adamant about the defense. He wants the defense. You know who else is adamant about defense? You know it. Guardian Alarm. They get it, whether for home or business. A good defense helps you feel secure on and out of your job, wherever you are. Guardian Alarm is state-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe, all with 24/7 local monitoring. Guardian Alarm, convenient features. You can check on your home. Open the doors, unlock the doors, check the temperature, because it's getting cold outside, especially this weekend, so you might want to turn it up a little bit. Or even if you have a fire, the smoke detector, or even that deadly killer, carbon monoxide. So, if you want to be part of the Big D Energy Woodward Sports family, you can, but you have to call this number, 1-800.
Stay out!
That's 1-800.
Stay out!
Everybody in the back, and for everybody who knows that if you want the good defense like the Detroit Lions should take its Guardian Alarm, call 1-800.
Stay out!
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house, out of the fishbowl, wherever it is. Let them know Woodward Sports sent you. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. The Professor, Steve Foss, subtle tones of Neil Rule. D-Mac, we'll be right back. Big D Energy.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brady Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule. That guy's name is D-Mac, Darren McCarty in the house. T-Foss, Terry Foster here as well. Sawyer and Sam, we are rocking and rolling. And, you know, for every one of these shows we do in, like, I don't know, mid-June or late June or whatever, Terry, and it can be, you know, sometimes it can be a struggle to come up with the content and stuff like that. For every one of those shows, you get shows like today that just kind of run themselves, man.
They're layups.
Yeah, they are. They are. That's why I appreciate the audience, too. Everybody tapping in on the YouTube chat thread. Somebody brought up the Bengals situation. Oh, by the way, $36 million in cap space next year. But Riley Reif, their left tackle, is a free agent. So the tackle thing is going to be an issue, and I know some people were saying
they might want to rethink keeping him upright.
No doubt, but that's where everybody's saying, like, I don't buy this argument about that. But I'm not saying this is eminent or anything like that. This goes back to my point about draft capital, because you got to be in the spot to do it, and this is where, you know, if the Bengals feel, you know, it only takes one, right? What do they say about the draft, Terry? It only takes one person to fall in love with you. Right?
But let me get this straight. You've been Mr. Number 1 pick for all these weeks. Gotta get it.
Right.
Now you want to trade it away.
That's the point, Terry.
Yeah, he wanted to get it, so he had the equity to have that the phone call would come to you first.
Yeah, you get the draft capital.
It's a poker mentality. Not because you want the pick, because there's not a quarterback there. Not specifically,
I want the leverage.
You're focusing in on one of those defensive ends or anything else. It's the fact that somebody else, right, you're thinking that they need something and they're going to call.
So the Pistons should have traded their number 1 pick.
They got to call you.
Get some draft equity.
The NBA's different. The NBA's different, Terry, because you got 5 players on the floor.
Okay. But this is a franchise that desperately needs playmakers on defense. Playmakers are going to take the ball away from you. Playmakers are going to sack the quarterback. You're going to get one of those 2 guys if you're at number 1 or number 2. I wouldn't trade out of there.
And that's fair, and you have that option. You know what I'm saying, Terry?
Yeah, the option is to say no. That's about having the option when somebody, if somebody calls, you answer first because you have the most to offer or whatever. They may not want it. They may not want to go down to you. You might not want to trade it. It's just having the option.
But you know what? There could be another team that needs playmakers on defense who wants Thibodeau or Hutchinson. There's somebody else could call you at number 2 and say, but I want one of these 2 guys. You still got your, you can still be a badass.
No, and I understand that. That's the point.
But not as bad of a badass because to the point is that it's the old steak, chicken, and fish, right? There's one of each. The fact that you get the second choice, I hope that day when you wake up and you want steak, that the Jacksonville Jaguars didn't wake up wanting steak too, because you're going to be disappointed. Right? So it's just having the fact of which one you have one, you get to choose what you want.
You still going to get steak at number 2.
But that's not the point we're making here. The point is that you can't guarantee me I'm getting steak at number 2 because I'm at number 2.
I can.
You can.
You
cannot guarantee me because you don't know what Jacksonville's going to do. You could think that everything else, but on that day, they could want steak, and then you're sitting there. You don't have a choice but to then take chicken or fish. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, there's 2 players I want. That one of them is going to be there regardless.
I get it.
Both of them could be there regardless.
I get it.
So guess what, baby? I'm not only getting my steak, but what's that Japanese steak they got? The Wagyu, right. I'm getting my Wagyu steak either way. So I don't care.
Okay, but that's if you're destined on picking one of those guys because that's your plan, and if you're Brad Holmes or whatever, and that's what you're going to do. But the fact that you would be an idiot, in my mind, if you're not listening to phone calls coming your way to at least see what it is. To your point, Terry, it might never be. It might just be like it's one of your boys. You're just messing around with them. You're never going to do it because you want that Wagyu. That's fine, but you have the option.
You have the option. Cody Engel here says, so trade the draft picks lower, but you're mad because the Rams won and caused the Lions pick to fall. cause the Lions to pick
It's a
later in the
friggin'
second
different
first
pick, and
round
it's all
pick as
about
well.
the play.
And
You
but
guys
he
are
goes,
friggin'
he goes,
idiots. You don't
says
even
to me,
understand what the hell you're talking about.
he says, make it make sense. I feel like I've done a good job of making it make sense.
To make it make sense is that you have assets, and it doesn't matter what it is. So maybe the fact that you have this other pick at the end, it can be packaged into something, because if it's whatever you want building your team, it's not the copycat. It is a copycat league to what everybody else does. But what are you planning on doing? You mentioned you look at the Bengals. They have a game plan, and they're showing it, and it's winning now. The Lions, I hope that we see, because what have we been saying? The guys that they drafted last year have stats in the NFL, meaning they played. So I'm pretty confident, Terry, that your Wagyu steak that we're talking about, you're going to get it.
It's going to be
I'm pretty
there.
confident.
You know what?
But to have the option, right? That's all it is. To have the option to call and say, hey, we're thinking of this. No, because I'm taking this. That's fine.
And
you still have the option. This conversation is ridiculous.
You almost knocked your hat off, Terry.
Huh?
It almost knocked your hat off.
I almost lost my hat. I'm flipping my wig over this guy. But you still have that option.
You have that option in the players, but you don't have that option to, if somebody, like Neil says, how do you know whoever it is isn't like, we need this guy, and Detroit's at number 2, and then they come with an offer. Like, you're putting yourself for that offer. That's all it is. Not saying it's going to happen. It's saying it's going to play out. They're going to pick one of these 2 defensive ends or whatever. It's the fact of creating more conversation and more value throughout the league.
Well, here's the thing about it. The same people that tell me, it doesn't matter if you pick 25th or 31st. Right. It doesn't. So if you slide back, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's my point about it. I'm doing what you guys say, where you say it doesn't matter if you pick 25th or 31st. Those are the same people right now that are saying, well, you need a top pick.
It does, because you may have a guy that all the draft gurus are saying, they're ranked, can be ranked 25th to 32nd. They're the same player. But on your draft board, no, there's a certain guy I really want, but I can only get him at 25. I can't get him at 32. There is a difference. And, the Mel Kipers and everything, just because they say a guy is the 25th best player doesn't mean you do that, because you do your independent scouting.
Right.
So there is a difference.
Yeah, you do it for a living. Like,
right.
That's how you put food on the table.
And
your
here's the
Wagyu steak, that's how you get your Wagyu steak on the table.
Neil, Nick C makes up a great point, too. Remember, you're picking second in every round. That gives you value at the top of every round to see how the draft breaks out. But boards are different. We'll find out when we're doing the draft, when the Lions have the 31st or 32nd pick, and we're coming up on 25, and there's 7 guys there, and you're going, I want this guy. No, can't have him. Oh, I want this guy. No, you can't have him. I want this guy.
There's
no,
going to be 7 of them to be exact.
Well, you wish you would have picked 26. That it would have come into fruition that way. That's the whole thing. To Nick's point too, how do you know that? Right, which could happen is that the first pick in the second round or the first pick in the third round and this other pick, and you see more. You get a 2 6-rounders for something else where you're getting more leverage, more players, because maybe there's that group that you need the athletes, the guys to get on the field.
Right. What we're doing, we're only focusing on the first round. But let's, for argument's sake, say the 4th round or the 3rd round. There's a guy that you really want. You may have to trade up to get him and lose some assets. So 25 and 32 does make a difference.
100%.
And it will make a difference.
Now I'd be cooler with it if I was at 25 and then I slide back to 32, but I get compensated for it. You know what I'm saying?
Bam.
And because I believe in Brad Holmes, because I'm a Brad Holmes guy, everything that you guys were telling me, there's no difference between 25 and 32, which is why I agree, but I want to have the highest assets possible so I can move back and be compensated.
True. Don't give in to the people. What they're saying is a damn lie. There is a difference.
There is, though, Terry. I know.
Right. It's the same thing at the top, Terry. It's the same thing at the top. There is a difference. Right? There is a difference.
Not between 1 and 2. Not this year's draft.
Okay. You know what? There's a caveat to what you're saying. If you're saying in this year's draft, right, there's not, because the player that is needed for this team, without forget everything else that we need to build off of, is there right there in this year's draft. But saying the asset part of it, right, where say there wasn't the defensive ends and there wasn't a quarterback there, say it was all something else, you agree that there's more value up the higher you pick, just like you said about at the end of the first round. So at the beginning of the first round, shouldn't it be that there's more chips in your pile? That's all I'm saying is that 32
here's one chip. What are the chances at any point of this draft with you drafting number 2, your guy's on the board and Jacksonville takes it and you go, damn. But what are the chances that you're 32 and somebody from 25 to 31 takes one of your guys and you go, damn? I think the chances of you being the 32 are much greater of you losing out on the person that you want rather than 1 or 2.
I agree with that because most teams at the top of the thing, those are the game changers. Those are the guys that are supposed to be. What are you going to do when they take a safety out of Notre Dame or something at number 2?
Which they won't because Brad Holmes is too financial savvy because there's no discount to market.
Thank you, Neil.
When you do that.
I wanted to get that out of the way so that people aren't worried about that.
And here's the other thing, too. Like Benjamin Foe says, Malik Willis at 32. Malik Willis, he's not going to be there at 16. Like, I'm telling you guys how this is going to go, all right? These quarterbacks are going to inch up and up. They're going to start flying off the board, and the Lions are in play to take one of them that they can get with that Rams pick. That's how it's going to go. Because of the discount to market, because of the financials, the way he sat out free agency last year so he could protect the comp picks that he gets this year. This is deeper level than we're accustomed to here. This is totally different, a totally different stratosphere that Brad Holmes is working in versus, the Matt Millens and stuff like that. Everything's into account.
In Holmes we trust, right?
1,000,000%.
And to your point, you just mentioned that is deeper than that, staying out of free agency, setting himself up. You mentioned we talk futures with the Red Wings because it's salary cap, it's draft equity. Well, Brad Holmes is doing the same thing, and I guess we don't see it just as much because we're so focused in.
Yeah. Fellas, you know what we just did and you don't realize it? We talked about the Super Bowl in the first part of the show. Now we're talking Lions Super Bowl.
That's right. Okay. We got 2 more months of it, Terry.
Yes.
And I'm here for it all. I am.
Unbelievable.
Yesterday when I was watching the game with the guys, I was here for that Gypsy vodka. Poured it on some ice, mixed it up with some club soda, lime. You know how I do it. Good looking bottle. That's cool. People are into that kind of stuff. I care about the vodka. Much like the NFL draft, I care about the asset inside the bottle, and that is the Gypsy vodka. The smoothest vodka, the best tasting vodka on the market. Gluten-free, corn distilled 6 times. They use artesian spring water. Support local guys from the state of Michigan out of Petoskey. That's right. Ask for it by name. It's Gypsy vodka. As always, drink responsibly. Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, T. Foss, Terry Foster, D-Mac, Darren McCarty in the house. Sawyer, he's all lubed up from watching the 24 Hours of Daytona. We're going to get your thoughts a little bit later on. I know somebody in the chat asked about D-Mac's thoughts on the Red Wings' total collapse on Saturday night. And I'm sorry, that was total collapse. But
what do you... Here we go, Red Wings. Here we go, Red Wings. Gosh darn roller coaster ride from hell. The worst part is losing to Toronto and stuff like that, but they're doing the things I told you, the frustrating things that they're going to do.
Yeah, it's going to happen. You did. You braced us for it. You prepared us for it. I agreed with you. And Terry and I have had conversations about that when you were gone, just the nature of you.
We just don't listen to them. That's our fault.
Listen, guys. I'm going to let you in on a little bit of a secret right here, okay? Now, that's not winning. We know that. That's not winning. But, guys, in a few years, as they roll it out, I'm going to tell you this right now. We know it's hashtag wiser plan. But what you don't know, a little bit deeper, in a few years when not just playoff ready, right, but conference championship ready, like back to the glory days, I will reveal to you something. And there is a word. There is a hashtag. The whole scheme of this is actually the McKaiser plan. Fill you in as this team gets better, but I might be behind all of this, guys. So if I'm not frustrated right now, I am a little frustrated with the ups and downs, but they're going to have to learn. And
you bring up a good point, too, with the Toronto. Because it's Toronto, it's more frustrating.
Because it's, as our buddy the D says, it's Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto.
No, and out of any of the rivalries, that will always stay with anything else. And God bless my Canadian brethren, even though they are Maple Leafs fans and stuff like this, but they travel. And it's a lot because, you know why? Because it's so much cheaper to come to Detroit, stay the night, go to the casino, blow your money.
Than it is to go to Toronto.
Than it is to go to Toronto. But the thing is, that's why it's frustrating. It's always frustrating when you have a lead in the third and stuff like that. But
still, they haven't done anything
my
since the
favorite
60s.
part of the game, though, and it didn't even matter, and if anybody who saw it, the empty net, Tyler Bertuzzi auditioning for backup goalie, right? We made two. He blocked a shot in the net, empty net, blocked a shot, and then the rebound came out, and the guy, one-time slapper, he double pad stack, kicked it out, right? So I'm telling you, and if you watch, we practice that in practice. Guys like me, Bertuzzi, stuff like this, we'll get the gloves and whatever and slide around when there's no goalie in net and stuff like that. So, but it's also, too, is that I know I wanted to get this out there, but, you know, no matter what we all believe during these tough times with, you know, the health and wellness, the COVID and stuff like this, at the end of the day on the ice, that kid's going to give you everything he's got, win or lose, and that's sacrifice. You don't realize guys taking slap shots from me to you away. You have no control. You try to protect yourself, but how many times you see a guy take it right in the face, taking the teeth, stuff
Often.
like that. So you don't, what you don't realize. So frustrating. Hopefully they bounce back tonight. I mean, and here's the thing, because they'll go into Pittsburgh and they'll play a great game against that team and win in overtime or do whatever they need. This is play. Watch this. That's Stave right here, but this double pad stack, that is sick. But, you know, they're just, it's the maturity. They're coming, they'll be there, they play hard for each other. One of the things I liked is the last couple games, Mo Sider ain't taking anything from Sidney Crosby or from Austin Matthews.
That was an impressive win.
And
I watched.
And here's the thing: nobody wants to play Detroit because Detroit is that they just haven't figured out how to put it all together, and that inconsistency. That, you know, one of the things Coach Blashill, these when they get into these hope plays, throwing it to the front of the net, not taking care of the puck, and the odd man rushes and stuff like this have been atrocious in their defensive zone coverage. So they're not playing well enough at times to win in the NHL. So
Terry, let me ask you this, man, because you covered the Pistons throughout the ascent, right, into the championship organization. You were here as the Red Wings came up and things like that. For me, I took a lot away from that win over Pittsburgh, much more than I took away from the collapse against Toronto. And that's not like being selective or anything like that. When you win those games, Terry, and I'm guessing the Pistons had similar types of wins when they were coming up through the mid-'80s, where they would have a tremendous effort against somebody, come back, it would all fall apart the next night. That's part of that progression, isn't it? But that means a team is, to me, the way that they won that Pittsburgh game, because I said I watched every minute of that Pittsburgh game, the way they won that game, they were the better team on the ice the final 10 minutes of the game and into overtime. They were the better team. They were. Now, it was maddening what happened against Toronto, but have you noticed that throughout your years of covering sports where young teams, when they get those kinds of big wins, that's a really good sign for what's to come.
Right, and the mistake those young teams make is sometimes they think that big win means they have arrived.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they have stinkers the next game, or they have like mental lapses, because when you go up, it's not a perfect line going up. You got to take some downs, and there's some pitfalls at the end. But I think the thing that Darren and I had talked about, there's going to be a point where the Red Wings, we're going to think, okay, they have arrived, but there's going to be some games or whatever where they're going to fall apart.
there's that proverbial terrier that we know that it's that you're good enough to the next. So there's 2 stages. Now it's what do I ask you every week? Are they a playoff team? Right now, no. Right? We'll say that they're going to get to a point where a year from now, hopefully, we're saying every week they're a playoff team. And then to Terry's point, right, that they're going to get to it where we're going to go, man, this team's good enough to win. This team can do it. And then you're going to hit the wall like we did in 95, 96. You don't have to, but that's usually the way it is. And how do you advance to that?
Right. And now I'm going to bring up a word about the Red Wings. You're going to say, oh, that's a boring word. You will know they arrive when they become consistent. You know,
that's not a boring word. Okay,
but it's a word. But I think some people say, oh, consistent. I want to hear great or flashy or whatever. No. When they become consistent, that's when they're going to become contenders. And consistent means you're going to go a bunch of games where you're not way high, but you're not going to go way low. It's just this is the team that I expect every day to come in, and this is what they are, rather than the team that blows a 5-goal lead or a 3-goal lead, and then they come out and kill Pittsburgh, and you're like, all right, here we go, and then you go down again. But, you know, have a team that's good against Pittsburgh, good against Toronto, good against Calgary, my bad.
Calgary.
And but just becomes a nice, consistent machine where they're, you know, just doing what solid teams in NHL is supposed to do.
Cody Engel on a YouTube chat thread. Him and I have different views from time to time, but we're in lockstep on this one. And this might unfortunately be correct, D-Mac. The Wings won't win a cup until 91 is retired. # book it. I mean, I wouldn't put that to chance personally. I would just retire the number just to take that out of the equation, but that's just me.
You know what? That's probably, you know, working smarter, not harder. As far as if that could be it, we could just take that right out of the equation.
Yeah.
That might be it. Not saying that it isn't. I got see a lot of questions on here, questioning Blashill on the hot seat or anything like that. Again, # Weiser plan. Told you a couple of years it's a McKaiser plan. Right now it's still, I gave Stevie the reins and he's making the decisions and doing some good jobs. You know, I approved on him bringing Lidstrom back and stuff like that. I like the way that they worked in the dressing room and the way they communicate and stuff like that. So, but the fact is, I guess it's the message, because if you're asking me, do I see what everybody else is seeing? Is the message not getting across as much now? And to be honest, out of any time up until now, Jeff Blashill's coaching tenure, if he would be on the hot seat or if there might be a change or is there thinking about it. Like, Stevie's so far ahead, he's already thought about it. But, you know, it's the inconsistencies when you look at the team as why are you inconsistent? And to me, that could come down to the locker room. So, but we'll see. There's time.
Sawyer put up a poll on the YouTube chat thread as well. Which young Red Wing butters your biscuit? Lucas Raymond, Mo Sider, or Ned? And understandably, Mo Sider's running away with that vote. We'll have a couple more of those as the show rolls on. There is no question about that. But yeah, Red Wings. It just hurts. It's exactly like you said, D-Mac. It hurts because it's Toronto. And, you know, I just have to go back to the point where you talked about how their fans travel and all that kind of stuff. They still haven't done anything since the 60s. That's a factual statement. I take great glee in that.
I got 4 cups since I've been born. They got none.
They got none.
Just fact.
That's all I'm saying. And it's been that way. Yet, they'll tell you how great they are and how they're the franchise.
They retire everybody's jerseys, so they got the most jerseys in their
rafters. Oh, yeah, of course they do.
You know, so
yeah, of course they do.
There's certain franchises like that. The Maple Leafs are like that. The Lakers are like that. No matter what, they're great. The Dallas Cowboys might be the king of that.
Yeah, the Cowboys are very Maple Leafy right now.
You know, forget what your eyes are telling you. We're great. Right? Forget what the history books are telling you.
Forget what you're watching here.
We're great.
I'm telling you. living in the past. But, hey, no joke, but who's going to win the Super Bowl or the Stanley Cup first, the Lions or the Leafs? I told you I won that bet from my cousin that we bet $100 when I was 10. The Red Wings or the Leafs win the cup, and the fact I scored the winning goal, I made him pay me $200, and we rebet $100 on Leafs Lions. So the worst of it, I'm up $100.
Right, yeah. You locked in.
And I still think I have a great chance of winning that bet.
Dude, if you're part of the process, you should have got 1,000 for that.
You know what, Terry? You know what? You're right. That was a younger me. I let him off. I let my cousin off the hook. He was probably whining and crying anyways. So, you're right.
But
though.
if I score the game-winning goal and the cup win, then I get 1,000.
You know what? I had great aspirations when I was younger. When I was 10, I didn't throw that one in. But next time, see, it's learning. It's like Matt Stafford. You know what he didn't learn in 2014, he learned in 2022.
Hey, guys, I hope this weekend that you got your action down with MyBookie.ag. I hope that you took the underdogs, and I hope you're living your best life this week. And a lot of it would be because you put your action down on MyBookie.ag. They're doubling your first deposit all the way up to $1,000 with the promo code Woodward. Boom! Your account grows right there in front of you with that promo code Woodward, and you are ready to roll. All the parlays, all the games, everything going on. The Australian Open of tennis was your thing. Certainly, you won some plus money on Rafael Nadal as well. So congratulations to you right there if you got that in at MyBookie.ag. Double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000 again with the promo code Woodward. And look, deposit bonuses are great, and certainly that's something that'll get you in the door. What's going to keep you with MyBookie.ag? The interface. It's clean. It's easy to read. It's easy to navigate. It's fast. Those things matter, guys, especially if you're in that live betting world. Those things matter. You want to get that action in right when you want to. MyBookie.ag. There is no better place to do it. And, oh, by the way, did I mention they'll double your first deposit with the promo code Woodward all the way up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Have a problem with gambling? Call the Problem Gambling Helpline, 1-800-270-7117.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Comerica Park, sunshine, the crack of the bat. More sunshine, warmth. We're almost there, Detroit. Summer 2022 will be the summer of Woodward sports. We just gotta make it through this damn cold first.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, T-Foss, Terry Foster in the house as well. We got Sawyer, we got Sam, we are rocking, we are rolling. What a weekend it was. The hits just didn't stop coming, D-Mac. You obviously had maybe the best football postseason of all time. Then you got news nuggets drop. I'm sure you watched the Oakland Golden Grizzlies on Saturday afternoon, too. Win another game. First place in the Horizon League. I'm sure you watched that.
Front run, of course, winners. Yeah. Got to pay attention to winners.
When I call your games, you win. That's just the way it is.
Oh, man, no wonder I recognize that guy's voice.
You know, but all that being said, that was when the news broke on Saturday that sources were saying Tom Brady was set to retire. And you had,
it wasn't sources, though. It was Shefty, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, the Adam Schefters, you had
the big dogs,
time,
like the check marks,
Blue
the guys
check marks
that you go to. Maybe Terry, being our savvy media professor here, is how does it work? Like when you hear something like this, something big like this, how do you go about without giving your sources out or something like this? But is there as a journalist? Do you have a checklist that you go down to make sure it's official or something like that?
Well, I think too, D-Mac, and just to follow up on that, where I know, because these are the big-time guys in the sports media world. And all the names, they're all the guys that we follow on Twitter. They're all the guys that, have the big following and things like that. They're not just putting stuff out there on a suspicion. So,
well, here's the whole thing before, right, Neil? Because, so for me, when I see something and you look to see who it is, you see if it's smoke or fire. When I first saw this from who it came from, I thought it was more fire than it was smoke. I just asked Terry, when things like this break, how does he break that down, like journal, to see if it's real or not?
First of all, you have to have trust in your source. That's the number one thing. If you don't trust the person, then it's probably best not to come out with a story like that, because what I found, people are just waiting. waiting to say, you got it wrong, you got it wrong. No, the discussions have been made that that he may want to retire. Maybe the person you're talking to doesn't have the up-to-date information, and but sometimes Tom Brady could change his mind, and that's the thing. And whatever, the last story that I sort of broke was Calvin Johnson retiring. I was scared all the way up until he said he was retiring, because I knew that he had cleaned out his locker. I had found out later that he did talk to Jim Caldwell, and of course people were telling me that was not true. They were saying, he's not retiring, even though the guy that I talked to knew Calvin, said he is retiring. But, two things is I trusted the guy. B, I always knew Calvin Johnson could change his mind. And then come out with a statement saying, I wasn't planning on retiring. Then you look like the fool. So you have to have trust, and then you got to keep your fingers crossed.
So how do you view like this Tom Brady situation where it sort of comes out and we're all like, oh, he's retired, and then he comes out or his agent comes out and goes, well, I didn't say that, because I think he's waiting till he's got that podcast with Jim Gray and right. Larry Fitzgerald or whatever.
The tough thing with, saying that Tom Brady is going to retire is Tom Brady has layers. He has layers of family. He has layers of friends. He has layers of confidants that most athletes don't have. So you're not 100% sure the person you're talking to knows what they're talking about. Now, I have every confidence in the world that somebody told Adam Schefter that Tom Brady is going to retire. This is what his thinking is. And I am sure Tom Brady has thought about that. We've gotten, from third-party people that he wants to do things business-wise outside of playing football. So I think we have his thinking correct. What we don't know is he actually going to retire? But, you can read the tea leaves. And, I just saw stuff from Mama. And when I talk about Mama, I'm talking about his wife. It sounds like she's worried about him. Sounds like she doesn't want him to go through the battles and things. So it sounds like he's thinking that. It doesn't mean he's going to pull the trigger.
And there's discussion, too, and I'm not exactly familiar with all the details. I haven't done that deep of a dive in it, but some people are talking about the fact that if he retires before February 4th, the Bucs could call back for some of his signing bonus and things like that. So, and look, I know his wife makes more money than he does and everything like I know there's just millions and millions and millions and millions.
You don't leave bags around. You don't leave bags lying around.
No, I mean, if I just wait 4 days to do something and I'm going to get, I'm going to keep an extra $4 million, guess what I'm going to do? Even if it was $40.
Yeah.
Which in your case it probably is.
Yeah, and for me, it's $40.
The other issue we have here is the National Football League. Then if he's going to do it, announce his retirement, he's going to have to do it this week. He can't do it the following week because the NFL doesn't want any breaking news the week of the Super Bowl.
Right.
But more than likely, he's going to have to wait until that game is over to make his announcement. And Tom Brady wants things on his terms. He wants to be in control of the message. He wants to be the one that tells the world, I'm not coming back.
So where are you guys at right here? Is there any part of you that thinks that it's just something that he still wants to play, but he wants to play somewhere else? Or
I think
this is a black and white issue.
To me, it is because I think we can all agree there was some fall off.
Yeah.
Just in the second half of the season alone. Now, don't get me wrong. His numbers were great and everything like that, but it just didn't look the same right around Thanksgiving and on as it did from September to October. And you guys, and D-Mac, especially you, and Terry, you've been around it, but this is where I lean on you, D-Mac. And you tell me if I'm full of it or not. When you're a professional athlete, you wake up one day and it's just gone.
You know what? It's more of the like you understand what it is, and to Terry's point about it's you realize, and especially if we're talking this age or later in your career when you've played 15 plus years or whatever, that what you have to do to prepare to put yourself in the position to be the best of the best. It's just you weigh the pros and cons, and then the more it becomes a job, the more it becomes if you have other interests. Like some guys don't. Some guys live.
See, I think Brady's like that. I don't think he has any other interest. He lives
it's football
for this.
or get into football or training or something like that. I could see him doing football. But here's the thing: you look at me, right? Everybody else, like I played around, lives at the rink, but they love it. That's who they are. That makes them tick. Me, hockey's what I did, not who I was. So I knew that at a different point because I always, I get in trouble all the time for all the extracurricular stuff I'd like to do and stuff like that. But the fact is that and especially when you're looking ahead, and then when you don't want to do it anymore. And here's the thing, Neil, as an athlete, when it becomes a job, right? That's where it is. For me, it was physically, right? It
was over.
When you play the way that I did and the injuries and all this stuff, body was done. Body, mind, so it was the end of it. And it's what you had to do to put in to get it back. Now, I was fortunate because I didn't live with the what if, because I got to make a comeback, and it worked out, storybook, and win the cup, whatever like that, and go ride into the sunset and stuff like this. But not for everybody, but usually it's your feeling. But again, too, Neil, here's the thing. When you're financially set, when you don't have to worry about it, when your options are open, it's just perspective. And I think that to Terry's point, the more he gets out of the bubble of the season and gets away, and the longer it goes, the more you're gonna see him say, hey, you know what? Because it's not like it's the Cincinnati, or it's not like it's the Rams or whatever. There's some turmoil. Like there's something that's not hunky-dory 100% in Tampa Bay. We can see that, whether it's Bruce Arians or whatever like that. My question is it Byron Leftwich going to Jacksonville, getting a job? There's his OC. There's just the dismantling, the injuries and stuff like this. I think he sees the writing on the wall.
Yeah, but the thing that I've heard from a number of athletes, I can still play, but damn it, I don't feel like going through training camp next year.
That's it.
So
Right.
I'm out.
It's not dude, if it was just playing games or whatever like that, but it's preparing and doing all the things that because you've done it year after year after year. Plus you're getting older. Plus you got to do more. Plus you got to take care of more of your body, and just some guys just would rather sit next to a microphone.
Yeah,
and maybe Tom Brady's tired of guacamole ice cream. Who knows? Or whatever he's eating.
The man
That's what
doesn't
he's
eat
doing.
food.
He's going to open up a guacamole, ice cream and tequila shop.
Yeah, he's doing those Subway commercials. Maybe he wants to eat his next Subway with bread.
Maybe he does.
That could be it.
He just wants some bread, T-Foss. I don't think it's a lot to ask for.
Absolutely.
No, I mean, and there is all that too, especially for what he does. The lifestyle. His whole life is built towards this. And my wife, I think I've talked about this before. Like, my wife isn't like large into sports or anything like that, but we did watch the initial documentary that he did for Facebook, the Tom versus Time. We watched that, and she was blown away by the fact. She's like, so this is like his life, and I'm like, yeah. And she couldn't get past that. Like, every single item that he puts into his body, every single thing that he eats is built.
It's a commitment
for that game in February.
You want to be the greatest. It's a commitment. So so you want to be, and that's the whole thing. So maybe he wants to change the routine. Maybe he wants to add some sugar to the diet.
Plus, you don't want to be that guy where people are looking at you and say, man, he looks old and tired. Or he got tired in a hurry. You don't want to be that guy.
We went there with him, right? When he went to Tampa, or at the end of New England, then he come back, win the Super Bowl. So right now, to walk into the sunset, it's sort of, he has that, the game passed him by moment.
But he didn't look the same to me starting in about December. The rest of it, even in that playoff game.
But the team wasn't the same. He started losing guys. He started. It goes to show you how much. And he's a guy that knows it as much as anybody. If we're talking about Matt Stafford going to the Rams and realizing it's a team, and he's got to be a part of the team, not carry it. Well, that's Tom Brady in Tampa. And then when you don't have the parts around you because everybody's going down, makes it a lot tougher.
But see, I saw some slippage 3 years ago where I'm like, he doesn't look the same, and then he got it back. Then all of a sudden, I don't know what he did, but he started looking younger.
That was when he did the deal with the devil, Terry. I'm convinced of that. That's when he sold his soul to the devil.
He must have.
There's no other explanation.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Couldn't
But
it
all of a
work
sudden,
out?
he snaps back and he's a different guy.
No, like you can't look like that. You can't continue to look younger. You can't have a wife like that,
with
a
Tom
life like
versus
that.
Time, when you put, you treat the vessel the way he does, right?
That's the only explanation I got,
Okay.
D-Mac. I think it's as good as anybody else's.
Yeah, but that's it. It'll explain it. Or he's an alien. Either or.
That's it. That's it. Neil Rule for Planet Fitness. That's right. Live from the Planet Fitness Studios. As we said, our new studio sponsor here. We're happy to have them on board every day. I roll through the Planet Fitness just up the road here in Troy. Shout out to my guy Matt in there. They do a great job in there. Home of the judgment-free zone. We can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. Membership, just $10 a month. That's right. Just $10 a month. You can get a black card option as well for $22.99 a month. Get access to over 2,000 locations, the massage chairs, the hydro massage, total body enhancement, all that kind of stuff. Black card, that's how I roll out there, working out, as Terry Foster has talked about before. Planet Fitnesses all around the country. Wherever you're traveling, there's always a Planet Fitness close by. You can join today in club, or you can join online at planetfitness.com. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There's one open in Midtown Detroit at the Detroit Pistons Performance Center. Right now, today, $0 down, $10 a month. Planet Fitness also hiring if you want to work in the fitness industry. Go to planetfitness.com for more on that. Planet Fitness, your fitness is essential, right, D-Mac?
Your fitness is essential. Planet Fitness. Be a spin goblin today.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Putting on a show here, and that's how you answer. We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, T. Foss, Terry Foster, Darren McCarty in the house as well. Happy to have Sawyer, Sam here with us, all of you on our YouTube chat thread. Appreciate you all tapping in. Big viewership numbers here today. Lots of messages. Can't possibly get to them all, but we appreciate all of them nonetheless. Try to pick them off as I can. We do have to get to this. Multiple media outlets reporting that Jim Harbaugh has conveyed legitimate interest in the Minnesota Vikings head coaching job during his interview with the team. Minnesota coming away feeling that Harbaugh is ready for a return to the NFL. As of right now, still considered in the mix for that job, but you're getting multiple media outlets that saying that the interest is real on Harbaugh's part. So I'll ask you, Terry Foster, a guy that's tuned in right here, right now. Is Jim Harbaugh the coach next September in Ann Arbor?
I still believe he's going to be in Ann Arbor. However, you've got to worry about the Minnesota Vikings because there is a contingent of what I call Michigan Mafia members who are part of the Minnesota Vikings front office. So it didn't surprise me that Minnesota was interested in Harbaugh. I think that is legit. They like Harbaugh. But they're not going to be like Ross, who says, well, we're not going to take him away from Michigan. No, they would take him away from Michigan and make him the Minnesota Vikings coach if they thought he was the best guy for the job. So this Minnesota thing is a threat, but I still think on the sidelines next year in Ann Arbor, we're going to see Mr. Khaki Pants there.
I don't think he's going anywhere and stuff like that. Usually when teams are high on coaches, the deal's done. Black Monday comes, and then, dude, in the next week, you're seeing some smatterings, but is that a good job for him? I mean, do we look at that and say, is that a fit for him with the talent, with, Kirk Cousins? To me, it's still the Minnesota Vikings. right? You know what I'm saying? It's still to add Jim Harbaugh doesn't automatically make Minnesota Vikings a threat in the North. So, I mean, I don't know.
You can win in Minnesota. Look at the division. You got Green Bay, and maybe Aaron Rodgers is gone, so you don't have to worry about them. And then the rest of the division is trash. It's the Bears and the Lions.
No, I get it, but is there a different? Is Jim Harbaugh NFL coach better coach than Jim Harbaugh college coach, or is he like more? Do you like him better, Terry, in the NFL or in college?
I like him better in the NFL.
So then let's break that. Like look into this then. So then what you're saying is because this Minnesota, this might be more, as I said earlier, fire than smoke to the fact that, you know, to go in there to have that asset if they think do you think Minnesota thinks that he's the guy, or isn't there another guy out there, or are they under the same assumption?
I don't think they know if he's the guy, but they think he can be the guy.
Okay.
But the thing that and I may be falling for the fake, but I do buy into the Jim Harbaugh loves the University of Michigan. He would love for them to be a perennial Big Ten championship contending team. He would love for them to be in the college football playoffs. He would love to make Michigan a powerhouse again. That would be his ultimate goal. But then again,
but Terry, we've had these discussions before, though. Can he?
But it's a reality because what he just realized, right, in having the most successful season he had, and then getting to the game against, right, and then sort of getting reality checked of whatever else, that there's really only two big teams. So in the back of his mind is he like, I can't get Michigan there. So let me go back to the NFL. Is it like, do we look at it that way? Because
here's the way I look at it. He's got to figure out a way. How do I split with Ohio State over a 10-year period? And maybe not even split, but how do I win 4 out of 10 games? Can I do that? That's the ultimate goal, because when you look at the rest of the Big Ten, it should be a cakewalk, except for Michigan State. He's got to figure out Michigan State and Ohio State. That's my 2-game schedule every year, because I can beat the rest of the schools. So if every odd year he beats those teams, maybe loses the next year, but if he can figure out how do I split with Ohio State and Michigan State, he's in. There's not that pressure like at Alabama. You got to win a national title. He doesn't have that pressure.
His pressure
is you got to beat these two schools on occasion. Not every year, but on occasion. And how do you do that?
Pistons fan 11 says, if he was going to stay, though, why not just announce it so your recruits don't get scared off? And that's exactly along the lines I was thinking, Terry, where, look, you know this business, where the recruiting game, and that's how you acquire your talent and all that stuff. There is free agency now, I guess. But, recruiting is your lifeblood as far as college sports go. Why let it fester like this? Because for every discussion that Alabama, if it's Alabama and Michigan, what do you think Nick Saban and his staff are saying to that recruit when they're sitting in the living room? This guy's going to leave for the NFL. Nick Saban's going to be here. The machine's going to keep rolling. You know that.
But sometimes you make selfish decisions. What's best for me? I got to look out for me, because the iron is hot right now, and I got to take advantage of it. A year ago, Jim Harbaugh couldn't have gotten all this interest in the NFL because they were 2-4. They lost Ohio. No, they didn't lose Ohio State. They would have lost Ohio State again, and so the iron was not hot. So he couldn't do that. Now the irons are hot, and who's to say it's going to happen again next year, or he's going to be hot the following year? So you got to take advantage of this situation. Get your money back that you lost, whether it's in the NFL or at the University of Michigan. So he's doing what's best for him and his family.
I got a question for both you guys, because obviously the Las Vegas Raiders made a call, and to me the initial, and I like Josh McDaniel better than Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia, but
no doubt
the Raiders did what the Lions did in hiring their GM, the guy's name, their pseudo GM or assistant GM, and then the offensive coordinator, who how many times we heard he was going to go to Denver before and leaving Bill Belichick's side, whatever, finally moves. They've taken that New England project to the Las Vegas Raiders. Do you think this will have success? like I view Josh McDaniel differently than I viewed sort of Matt Patricia. Not initially coming out of New England with the Belichick thing, but do you think, I guess my point is, we've seen all the assistants under Bill Belichick not succeed or not have the success that that we expect them to. Do you think these guys are successful and can get this Vegas program turned around?
No. I think Vegas is they're in Vegas for a reason because they're all about glitz. They hired John Gruden. We want people who are popular. We want people who our fans know. And so they're climbing up that dead New England tree, and it will fail. And the one guy who did succeed was Mike Vrabel. But what does he have that's different than all the rest of the assistants? He coached somewhere else. And for me, when I hire my head coach, I want a guy that's been at least 2 organizations. I don't want him in the same one because he could see, one, this is what they did well, and this is what this team did to screw things up. But at least I got that in the back of my mind. I know how to fight things if things get out of control. So I want guys who've been in at least 2 organizations.
See, for me with Josh McDaniels, that was the New England Patriots coach that I wanted. Like, because I'll wear it. You know, like I'll come out and say who I thought. You know, I was on board with Josh McDaniels. I liked him. I thought he got submarined in Denver. I think the Jay Cutler thing really submarined him because he came out there. They were 8-8, I think, his first year when he was out there in Denver. He had a falling out with Jay Cutler. Locker room got fractured. You know, boom, the bottom just kind of fell out. And he went back to New England, and that was it. So I'm a believer in him, especially, too. You give him a David Carr to work with, you know, a seasoned veteran. I think he can do some things. Are they gonna challenge for the Super Bowl?
But if you lose a locker room,
I don't think you could help David Carr.
Do you trust this guy with another locker room?
But there's no Jay Cutler there. You know what I'm saying?
Jay Cutler was
the intriguing part is Derek Carr,
yeah.
right? Because let's say it, Derek Carr probably had the best season or played his best
of his career.
Yeah. And to get the Tom Brady whisper or to get a quarterback whisper, I think that it helps him. So that's why it's the interesting part. I'm more to Terry's that New England way doesn't work unless you pick up another piece somewhere else. So it'll be interesting to see, but who knows?
Yeah, but we are talking Jim Harbaugh right now. They say there's legitimate interest on his part in the Minnesota Vikings. Again, these are checkmark Twitter accounts that we're discussing. Like Adam Schefter with the Tom Brady thing.
Checkmark Twitter accounts?
Checkmark Twitter accounts.
Speaking about that, I got mine over the weekend. Finally got my checkmark.
There you go.
Yeah.
I still don't have mine.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I found it inside T-Foss. Let me see if I can make a couple calls.
All right.
You're the guy now.
No, I'm not the
He's
guy.
got connections.
But I found the guy. So
he knows the guy who knows the guy.
I do. That's all it is. That's what Terry. Hey, listen. Back in the day with Terry and I, 30 years ago, used to sit around and talk. He said, "If you know the guy that knows the guy, then you're the guy."
Then you're the guy.
That's true.
You start breaking it down, man. That is a case.
That's all I needed to know.
30 years, man.
That's all I needed to know.
Time goes by pretty quick, huh?
It is what it is, man.
It is what it is.
Here we are sitting here today, you know, getting ready to cheer. Look at all the things we're talking about. And I think in the sports, the cyclicalness, right? The way that it turns around, just like fads and stuff like this, that hopefully, you know, these different things will come to fruition, especially here. Because I still look into our Detroit sports team to where we were a year ago or the beginning of COVID. There's things to believe in here, right? There's things to get behind.
Yep.
And every of these major sports. It's just got to take time.
It's like
so do you see the little sprouts coming out the ground now?
I do.
Okay.
I always see the sprouts coming out of the ground, Terry. It's my job.
He's an optimist.
It's like a night at the Folding Warehouse, right, Sawyer?
Oh, yeah. It's exactly like a night at the Folding Warehouse. The best place to be on your weekends. I mean, if you guys aren't there this last weekend or this upcoming weekend, I don't really know what you're doing because you're missing out on such a good time. It's right in Hamtramck, easy to find. Giant warehouse. It says Folding Warehouse right on it, so you can't miss it. Huge warehouse. Got two long bars, multiple of them. Multiple lanes to play at. 2 mystery beer machines. You know I'm all in on the mystery beer machines. We've got some hitters pulled every single time we go there. People are giving us their pictures of the mystery beer on social media, so it's a tried, true, tested process that works every single time. It's not going to go wrong. You're not going to get gypped. You're not going to get screwed out of a nice beer. But hey, if you don't want to risk your money, that's fine too. 100 100 beers on tap for you.
100?
You can pick anything. Yeah,
What,
over 100.
100?
Over 100, D-Max. So they got,
100.
Two Hearted Ale, Oberon, that probably even had like Christmas shandies and stuff during the Christmas season, holiday season. So, it's a great place to be. Foaling was invented at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, very special place to me, so I'm all in. I love playing. I love showing off the cannon of an arm while I'm knocking down some pins, drinking a beer, watching some racing or football. It's on TV. TV screens everywhere, so you're not missing any action while you're playing Foaling. So it's a win-win situation every time you're there. So all you guys got to do is go to thefoalingwarehouse.com. I'll say it one more time for you. It's thefoalingwarehouse.com. You want it again, Neil? It's thefoalingwarehouse.com.
Hey, where can I find them online?
Foalingwarehouse.com or just go to the Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck, guys.
Stick around tomorrow
easy.
and we'll tell you about the horn.
Oh, yeah. The horn is very special.
Teased.
Yeah, that's
Tomorrow.
a good one. But
Tomorrow's.
you guys got to go check it out. Again, foalingwarehouse.com, right in Hamtramck. This is Big D Energy. We got T-Foss on the couch today. D-Max back on the normal schedule. Neil's on the... tongue-tied myself. Neil's here just killing it. Sam's over there doing the audio, and I'm over here just messing up every word I'm saying. We'll be right back. Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
No off-season for us. We're talking sports. 365. Detroit Sports Network. Woodward Sports.
Coming down the stretch, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, Terry Foster, D-Mac, Darren McCarty in the house, Sawyer, Sam. We're squad deep up in here on a Monday post AFC NFC Championship Monday. Coaching news, Tom Brady announces his retirement. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. It was a crazy, crazy weekend. The show's flying by here today. Didn't even get a chance to bring up Cade Cunningham dropping a triple-double yesterday. Had 19 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Pistons were down 15-0 to start this game. And no one knows because the game was on at the same time as the NFL championship weekend. But Cade, man, popped off yesterday. Pistons came back. We were talking about the Red Wings with big wins. And in the grand scheme of things, record-wise, stuff like that, Terry, no, it's not a big win. Doesn't really mean a whole heck of a lot. But I think it does to the development of that team. Am I overstating that? Am I buying too much? Just with Cade with the triple-double, being down 15-0, the bench contributed. It's an important win. I don't know if it's a big win, but I think it's an important win.
I think the importance of it is they didn't give up. When you're down 15-0, you assume you're going to lose that game. But Cade Cunningham is still engaged. Cade Cunningham still wants to be a leader. Cade Cunningham is now hitting the shots that we thought he should have been making early in the season. And I think the one person that's going to look a little bit foolish in this whole thing is going to be former Piston Dave Bing, who said you can't build around this guy. That's absolutely not true. He's finding his stride, and it's coming at a time where a lot of rookies start to fade a little bit. That January freeze, January heading into February, it's like, okay, I've played more games now than I did in college. It's cold. We have nothing to play for. So I kind of give up a little bit. He's not doing that, and I think that's the important part of this whole thing.
It's the maturity, the leadership, and stuff like that. And what I see is you look at the facial expressions, the commitment, and the effort there, and the fact that Dave Bing came out and said that. Cade seems to me that's something that he listens or he hears that, but he lets his actions speak for himself. What I'm seeing is that, oh man, this is a kid that cares, that's putting in the work, that you watch him lead. And Sadiq Bey had 31 last night and stuff like this. But you can tell what I love about Cade is that as the season goes on, to Terry, what you say, we're the young guys because of the age and the rookies. And how can you not? Your first year in the league, new travel, new thing, everything else. But he stayed steady and something like this. And that's leadership. And that coming from your young guy you have something to build around. And the fact that they, be able to come back, that's a caveat, hopefully, that the young team can build upon. That they don't want to be down like that, but that's sort of they're on a more, not even on an inconsistent. The Red Wings are like this. The Pistons are like, shows you little signs here and there, but the biggest sign that we have our quarterback. That's it. You look at it, we're looking for a quarterback with the line. Well, we got our quarterback and our captain and our guy with the Pistons and Cade Cunningham. And the more the season goes on, Terry, to your point, you've seen more basketball than most people around here been around. You see the real deal human being that it is, and it's coming out in his game. All these guys, all these greatness guys, is that self-confidence and stuff like this. And what I see is his confidence, because he's not thinking about, he's not doing it, that step backs, this, that, or whatever. He is in control of his game, and that's great to see.
Right,
What we
and
expected.
he's different.
Yes.
He is different. He reminds me a little bit of Grant Hill. Grant Hill was mature when he came in as a rookie. And Cade Cunningham, if he had an opportunity to talk to Dave Bing, I'm sure he wouldn't go up in his face and say, "You're wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong." No, Cade Cunningham is the kind of say, "Okay, I'm taking the criticism. Let me listen, and here's how I'm going to improve that." So it's the mature approach to it.
Ted Lindsay used to get in my ear all the different time in the locker room, like one-on-one or whatever, and it wasn't yelling at me or whatever. It was challenging. And it was asking, different whys and stuff like this. And that sort of means something, because when you know the history, and I get this from Cade, it's like, well, I got to prove you wrong, because it's that respect and sort of been there. And I'm going to listen, right? I don't need to talk. I need to show you. Because then when you would, there's nothing like, getting a pat on the back from Ted Lindsay or across the room, just a little nod or something like that. That's what it's all about. So I look at it like this.
But when he was rough on you at first, was it a little tough to take?
Yeah, because when I was young, it's the same thing as it took me 3 years to stop crying and sucking my thumb in the quarter to realize Stevie picked on me because he liked me, because I was his, the room worked. It would always, whenever there was anything else, it always come back to me. Okay, well, when you realize that, it's not personal, and I guess it's always easier. I'm always was raised to respect the elders and whatever like that, so it didn't matter who it was. But you understood, Terry, it's the whole thing that they have this grandfatherly, fatherly love about you. You always knew that it was pure intentions about the bigger, the plan, the team, or you as a person, not just this and that, as a whole. And I think that's the development, and that's my maturation to realize where you fit in, what your role is. And that's what all these teams, we're watching them play the games. They're trying to figure all this out as it's inside the locker rooms, off season, this season. All this stuff has to go together. That's why the sooner it comes together off the ice, and guys are committed to doing what they're doing, and there's these conversations and stuff, that's when you get better, because it's nothing personal. It's about your part of something.
Somebody made a determination that you can take it, because there's certain young guys,
right? You
criticize them too much, they're going to disappear for a couple weeks or a month or maybe the rest of the season.
Well, here's the whole thing, right? Everybody's different. You talk to me differently than you talk to Sergei Fedorov. When you realize Sergei Fedorov is 18 years old, and you know what I'm saying, and you have to have a different dialect with him than you do with me, right? It's just that expectations. And sometimes the way that the dynamics in the locker room go, and Drapes was the king of it. If Scotty wanted to be mad at me or mad at whatever like this, he'd yell at Drapes, right? Because Drape was I was his responsibility of anything else. So there's this responsibility to your other team. That's where Scotty and all the old thing is, that it's not about you. It's about you, about your brother beside you. So the accountability holds to them. So that's all this stuff that we're seeing, and then you see guys come out and play, and it works on the field, on the court, on the ice. That's what we want, development in the dressing room, in the locker room.
Updating some of Sawyer's polls that he had running on the YouTube channel. Will Jim Harbaugh leave the University of Michigan for the Vikings? 55% of you say no. 44% of you say yes. Yeah, his most recent one that he has up here, tip of the cap to Mike G. Who would win in an Oklahoma drill? Kelly Stafford or Giselle?
I'm going to go Kelly.
Really?
I go Giselle.
I'll go
She's
Giselle
got the
too.
size.
More athletic.
Yeah, no. Kelly has got that.
She's got the tiger
oof about her. She's small, but she's got that little pit bull about her. I don't think
right.
Giselle has that.
I think Giselle, though, is more athletic.
She's a model.
I don't know. I see Giselle more as Ali. You know what I mean? Like standing more as Kelly's more of the Tyson. Giselle's gonna.
I was gonna say Tyson.
Detroit Dabber 313. Kelly has a lower center of gravity. I think that she trucks Giselle.
She controls Matthew Stafford. So
those words are Terry Foster's words. Do not necessarily reflect the views. We'll take our final break when we come back. Oh, by the way, too, Sawyer just let me know, kind of in our inner communicational threads, the Washington football team is going to be called the Commanders. I've been told.
How dumb.
What do you think, Terry? Real quick.
I'm not impressed. So we got the Commanders and the Guardians, our two new nicknames. What do you do?
What are you going to do, man?
They mailed it in. They mailed it in.
They absolutely did. Neil Rule for the Sports Marketing Agency. SMA has been leveraging pro athletes and other notables for a decade against the issues around mental health and substance use disorder. With the help of NFL alumni, Sean Jordan has been able to save lives and take a stand against these issues. Coming soon to Woodward Sports, the Sports Marketing Agency podcast titled This is the F Word. It's a series on fentanyl. If you're struggling with substance abuse or mental health, they are here to help. Go to thesportsma.com. Again, that's thesportsma.com, the Sports Marketing Agency's new podcast right here on Woodward Sports. This is the F Word, a series on fentanyl.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Opinions are like ear holes, and we're putting ours in yours.
Well, that's not winning, joint.
It's Woodward Sports.
Final segment of the show, Big D Energy Woodward Sports Network on a Monday. Don't forget about the ASHAWN Robinson Super Bowl party. That's right, Brandon Powell Bowl as well. Or they're calling it the Stafford Bowl party. Woodward Sports, Cintron, Gypsy Vodka, and Planet Fitness will be live at the Brass Rail in Detroit, 4:30 to 6:30 on the Sunday of the big game, followed up by the watch party. You can watch the ASHAWN Robinson Bowl with hundreds of your favorite Lions fans as well, so that should be a good time. We'll be out there in full force for that one. YouTube chat thread. Rich Coffia says, Neil is mad butthurt about Stafford, mad that he had one season with a good team and mad that he didn't make it all, bitter ex-girlfriend.
Why are you mad, bro?
I'm not mad.
You're not mad.
Why do we always have to compare the Lions with a bitter ex-girlfriend?
I don't know.
That's a thing that everybody uses.
No, I mean, I would have rather they lost because it benefits the Lions. Like, it directly benefits them. But it's not a Stafford thing. It's a Lions thing. Like
I'm sure we can get back to that tomorrow and stuff like this. I'm more interested in...
Yeah, well, yeah. D-Max had enough, and that's fine. I think a lot of people have. We do have to get the update, though, from Sawyer. So for those of you that know, the Motorsports Minute was a banger last week.
I heard you get extent. First you were cutting them, and then I'm sitting in here. You're going, Sawyer, your minutes of 30 seconds. And the next thing, Sawyer, he's got 2.5 minutes.
Yeah,
Friday?
we're gonna do a quarter mile with Sawyer.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Starting out. Well,
That's because when we weren't here, he did 15 minutes.
Well, wait till NASCAR comes around. We're gonna be doing 30.
No, we won't. No, we won't. But anyway, the quarter mile with Sawyer will be back on Friday. He gets 2.5 minutes to go, only because he made it such a banger. Now, Sawyer's look, we'll go to battle for Sawyer. D-Mac and I talk about it all the time. Sawyer's great. What he's brought to the show, we love. I can't really picture life without Sawyer here for this show.
There's no big D.
With all that being said, Sawyer struggled with the folding warehouse retail. He's the first one to admit it.
It's a Monday,
So I just want you to know there's a lot of pressure on Friday for the quarter mile with Sawyer. But Sawyer, over the weekend, you watched the 24 hours of Daytona. Give me the recap. Give me a minute recap.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, you missed a beautiful race to start things off. I mean, 24 hours of pure action is amazing. I made it till 2:45 on Saturday, so coverage ended at 3 in the morning. So made it till the last 15 minutes, so we'll take that. Then, come Sunday, though, big winner, the main class, overall winner was the DPI class. They always win it. But Helio Castroneves, IndyCar legend, wins it. Becomes the first driver to win an Indianapolis 500 and a Rolex 24-hour Daytona race in the same year. So,
I saw
that's
him
electric.
climb the fence from front row at Indy this year, too.
46 years old.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Nothing to bat a lash at,
to
speak. What was one of the things I think it's important that people don't understand, but you were talking about the commentary and different to make it entertaining. Why is it so entertaining for you?
I mean, one of the reasons why it's so entertaining is because it's so long, 24 hours. You have to fill all that broadcast time with, content that's engaging for people, stuff to get people watching, and then it hits a certain point around, like, the midnight to 3 in the morning area where you just run out of things to talk about, so you can just hear the commentators like, oh, Ferris wheel's lit up real nice. Like, oh, it looks good today. And then he's like, yeah, I rode it earlier, all this stuff, and just try and make jokes. But the one thing that stood out to me was Sunday, coming down to the end, last lap of the race, the GTD Pro class, which is like their production cars that are souped up to race, essentially, came down to the last 3 laps between 2 Porsches, just trading like places each lap. Coming into the last chicane, they both just overcook it right into the grass. The dude in second spins out, and then the number 9 car goes on to win. But, that's what you want to see. At the end of a 24-hour race, these guys have been racing all day, all night, and then it comes down to the last lap.
How many different drivers?
There's usually 3 to 4 per team.
So they switch every...
Yeah, they do stints, and then it's tiered. So you have a gold driver. It's like platinum, gold, silver, and bronze, and each person has to do an allotted amount of time throughout the 24 hours.
I missed the race. That since it's so long, did they mention that Matthew Stafford and Clayton Kershaw used to be teammates in baseball?
They used to, yeah. Or they did, yeah. And they mentioned that Jerome Bettis is from Detroit, too.
Yeah.
So they got to that one.
They touched on all the bases.
Okay.
Terry, did you watch a Royal Rumble last night?
I did.
Saturday.
You did?
I did.
Or
watch
Saturday,
it.
I'm sorry. Did you really?
Yes. I watched the men and the women. Let me think. What's my man who won it? It was Brock
Lesnar.
Lesnar won it.
Terry, you're getting me excited over here a little bit. I'm gonna go.
See, I was disappointed by the whole festivities of the evening.
The Royal Rumble gets a 3 out of 10 from me for
That's
the
fair.
overall lack of surprises. But what I did like, because you knew they needed to swerve, was the fact that Heyman, the double swerve, whatever, in the match between Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, where Roman Reigns came out, Paul Heyman turned on Brock, gave him the belt, walked away. One of my favorite, if you watch it, Terry, because I'm all about the little things. So when Roman Reigns spears Lesnar and both him and Lashley are laying down, and then he walks out of the ring and he's walking away, and you see MVP, who's the manager, right, for Lashley, he's standing by the steps. He's got a cane. He walks with a limp. He sees what's going on. He jumps up in the air and runs over to Lashley. Goes, pin him. It's the little intricacies like that. Now it makes sense. Corey Woods and I agree. The fact that Bobby Lashley's got the belt back, and it makes sense because Lesnar goes. So now with Lesnar winning the Rumble after losing his title, he'll challenge Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and Bobby Lashley will continue to carry the title for the next couple months on TV. I liked the way that ended. As far as it goes, Ronda Rousey came back, won the Women's Royal Rumble, whatever. But other than that, it was rather disappointing. Looking for more surprises and stuff like this, just didn't get it.
But didn't Brock Lesnar have to win the Royal Rumble because he only kept the heavyweight championship belt?
Well, he had to win it after what Roman did to him, and he lost, right? So it's the only way that he could get himself, because when you win the Royal Rumble, you can challenge for any belt. So the fact that Roman screwed him, out of the one title, the Raw title, that Lashley guy, he doesn't care. He's going to go fight Roman. It's all in the storyline. And Paul Heyman, the manager in the blue suit, the double swerve, you knew it was coming. I love that stuff. I love the storylines, and that was the best part. Also, too, Edge and Beth Phoenix and Miz and Maurice.
I didn't like that.
I did. Because
God,
but you got to be... You're not a 20, 30-year fan to the history of whatever it is, and it was the great couples match, especially. I liked the way that they intertwined it. It was always going to be entertaining. What about you?
But the one missus was scared. She kept running at first.
She's supposed to be. She's facing the glamour zone.
If you get into
Terry,
the ring, you're supposed to
you know
be.
what? I can educate you on the why. She's
You
a TV
can. I
star.
didn't like that. I didn't like that match.
Real quick on our YouTube chat thread, people want to send Sawyer to Daytona. Mike G says, Sawyer with a banger, Formula One, settling his Catans like a boss. And Rack says, I'm slowly becoming a fan of Sawyer's Motor Minute. Glad he's getting more time. He better bring it. Lots of pressure Friday, man. Lots of pressure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, we're ready for it, though.
We are ready for it.
I have never been to the 24 hours of Daytona. I covered the Daytona 500. Had a blast.
Stories from what? We're going coast to coast now. Arizona. Next, Uncle T-Foss at Daytona. The story's coming up. You better tune in.
Hey, big thanks to everybody for watching, listening, everything like that. Big thanks to Sawyer, Sam, T-Foss, D-Mac as well. My name's Neil Rule. Thanks for watching Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.
Gang.